Hey, what's happening? Hi, you guys. How you been? It's been a week. So I'm trying to go live on YouTube also, but I just realized I'm having issues with the internet connection at my house. I don't know if that ever happens to you, but we are all a little bit spoiled as that's just our world. Beth, what's up? Dude, you missed it last night. Like, I don't even know what to say. It was hilarious. So, anyways, I may not be able to go live on YouTube, but I got you guys. You're watching me, so I'm going to stay with you. Bear with me. So, yeah, so last night I was on stage at the Improv. So, if you have an improv in your town, hi, Cindy. It's a comedy club, and you go there to laugh, and you go see comedians and whatnot. So a friend of ours was doing a fundraiser, and he is from the Iranian community, and he has quite a few friends who happen to be celebrity comedians. Go figure. And so my husband, thanks Fareed, called him up and he's like, hey dude, you should have Gina come on stage. She's really funny. She does a Cuban accent. She can speak a little Persian Farsi, and they'll love her, and she can talk about addiction. I'll do this all in 5 minutes and be fabulous. So my husband convinced him, the owner of the center, and then from there they called Maz Jobrani and convinced Maz Jobrani. Look him up. He's like a very well-known comedian, been at it 20-something years, has TV shows, specials, whatever. So yeah, trial under fire. I was blessed to just get on stage and just start talking nonsense like I do here, and the jokes came. So I think 30 years of being married to my husband, who's Persian, gave me a lot of material to use. I'm just going to say that. So hi, Marshall. How are you? Marshall, thank you for acknowledging my promptness. So I'm very disappointed because right now on YouTube, I'm seeing a little circle go like this instead of me going live because I'm having internet issues in my house. So thank you for acknowledging my promptness. I'm going to let Fareed know that. My husband is like anal about being prompt. And when he married me, I was not. I was an hour late to everything because I'm on Latin time. Or to my fellow islanders, island time. So I wasn't born there, but I inherited the gene of very laid back, and I was an hour to 2 hours late to everything. And when I met him, I whittled it down to about an hour, and then it was 30 minutes late for sure. And so through the years, he broke that. And I can finally be on time for things. It's amazing. So thank you, Mike. Hey, Narendra, how are you doing? Oh my God, yes, I would like to start a new career as a stand-up. I think now I would have the guts. Yeah, good morning to you, and good evening to me and whoever's on my side of the world. 6 p.m. here, back east. What are you, 9 p.m.? And then Central Mountain Time is 8 p.m. So good to have you all with me. So yeah, Marshall's referring to me doing a little stand-up comedy routine last night. Hey, Beth. I said hi to you first. Did you not hear me? Is it not coming through? Are you getting the volume? Let me know. Just little thumbs up. Okay, cool. So you can hear me. So anyways, yeah. So it's going to be my backup career for sure. For sure, Mike. Because it was a lot of fun and it's a lot less painful than doing therapy. And hi, Nancy. How are you? What's been going on? I feel like I haven't chatted with you guys for a while. I'm thinking this once a week thing, like I'm getting like withdrawals from you guys. You're probably like, oh, thank God we don't have to listen to her for another week. Or you look forward to it, right? Because go ahead and lie to me. It's okay. I'm not going to be disappointed. So yeah, because a lot of you text me during the week and you're sending me little funny videos and you're communicating funny things and asking me how my day's going. I mean, how sweet are you guys? So I'm like, oh my gosh, they miss me. So maybe I have to come on here more. Beth, I can now, but I couldn't hear in the beginning, but you look fabulous. Thank you. Got my hair did. Got a new outfit in New York City. Hi, Fran. How are you? It's good to see you again. So who of you guys watched the live last week when I was in New York with my girl Shada? If you did, send a thumbs up right now so I can see. And the reason I'm asking that is I want to ask, did you enjoy me having, I won't get my feelings hurt, she won't get her feelings hurt. Did you enjoy me having a guest? Thumbs up. You can go, or sad face. You didn't like me sharing my time. Did you like me having a guest? I want to hear from you. So if you're not, I ain't getting no thumbs up. Were y'all just all checked out? None of you came on last week. So I did. Then she was my first. Wish I saw the comedy improv. Me too, Nancy. Oh my God. I was in shock the whole time. So, and Fareed couldn't videotape it because it's against the rules. Oh, thumbs are going up. So you watched it, right? But now I need to know, did you enjoy me having a guest? That was the first guest I've ever had on the show. And I thought I'd like to do that once in a while to break it up. If you like that idea, send me hearts and say, how do people, this is a millennial thing. Mine doesn't look like a heart. Mine looks like two dinosaurs that are going to go at it right now. But it's supposed to be a heart. So hearts up if you like me to have another guest. Thank you. I think Gina always looks fabulous and complimentary. Oh, well, thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. Oh, dude, about 3 weeks ago, I was totally tore up, and I think George went into shock. He didn't even recognize me. He goes, you look different. And I'm like, wow, no makeup. Hair was dirty from the gym. I was like thrown together and ran in here. So, I just like to keep it real sometimes. Today I came straight from work, so I'm all coiffed. Oh my God, so many hearts went up. You really liked having Shada on here with me. How cool. So Beth, what do you think? You want to come on here one time with me? Beth is another one of my dearest and closest friends. She's also a fitness freak, but she has other fabulous things about her and qualities about her. So she could come on. I have quite a few very interesting friends that I could bring on with me. So if you like it, hey, Julie likes it. She said I should have more guests. Thank you, guys. Is it because you get tired of me? You get tired of all of this. You've had enough of this. You want to break it up with other people? I feel you. Yes. And Beth says yes, she'll come on. I think I honestly should have Fareed come on next. Come on. Seriously, I'm always talking about him. I'm always razzing him. He's always there. He's on here right now, I'm sure. In the background, he's going to send some hellos. And Beth definitely does bring it. So if I had Fareed and Beth on the show, actually they would dominate and I would get squeezed out and you wouldn't even know I was here. So I'm going to have to do one at a time. Plus, I don't have room in the screen for both of you. Okay. Unless Fareed wants to hang off the ladder there behind me sideways in one of his yoga poses, which he's very capable of. All right, Mike, Gina, just letting you know I sent you a message on Messenger. If you have time, read. Oh, okay, Mike. I hope it's not like super serious and intense. Was it today or before? I've had a rough, since I traveled the week before and just got back, I've had a rough time catching up with all those things. So I apologize if you had sent it before. I can watch it after. All right. You are primary choice. Thanks, Julie. You're my bestest fan. Beth, he can be on my shoulders. All right, I'll bring it. Let's think of a topic and somehow have Beth and Fareed come on here next. And any guests that you might want to see that you think of, somebody who's in the field, not as interesting, so maybe just friends and having normal conversation like I did with Shada might be fun. Just like I have with you, just normal friend conversation. So I'm breaking this up and I'm being lighthearted and I'm taking a long time to warm up because I think the subject matter I chose tonight is a bit heavy. And so I don't know if you saw it. Some of you just jump on here out of habit. That's Fareed. Say hi to Fareed, everybody. He's posting the Ask Gina. And I don't even say who I am anymore. Y'all know me, but I'm Gina. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California. I'm still working on my doctorate. I work in the industry of addiction and trauma is my areas of expertise. And this is a public service. And I do this to share my experience, strength, and hope. I do share a lot about myself. Oh, Mike sent it 3 days ago. I'm sorry, Mike. And thank you for the reminder. I will look for it, okay? And I promise I'll get back to you. So yeah, I do this to share my personal journey. I do have a lot of experience and insight as a clinician and as a human, so I use both of those things, but I'm not trying to act like anybody's therapist right now. And anytime you need referrals or resources, I'm happy to send people information like where you can find somebody in your area or what type of therapy and things like that, okay? So if you've never watched me before, this is what it's all about. Christy, codependency topic. Hey, Christy Clayton. That's an awesome topic. I'm a recovering codependent of more than 28 years. I think I'm now up to 30 years. I've lost count. How about splitting as topic? Like splitting up, like breaking up? Yeah, I think I kind of started to tackle that a little bit last week. I've talked about codependency, and I will always talk about codependency when it comes to relationships. If you want to look on YouTube under my name, Gina Tabrizy, or the business Harmony Heals, or Ask Gina, you'll find all those videos. And Fareed Fareed's posting my little award thing that I got again. Thank you, honey. So splitting up, I actually thought about today tackling breaking up, but I don't know. I kind of have talked about it before. I'm happy to talk about it again. Tonight, I'm talking about losing a loved one. So if it's not to a death, the subject was finding peace when your loved one passes, because don't you know, I think I've had 2 funerals in the last 2 weeks. I have someone who's very critical right now. I have heard of more deaths through former patients and people that I know in the field of recovery that have not been fortunate enough to remain sober. And so, no, Gina, splitting as in bipolar. Oh, okay. I use the term splitting when I'm talking about a multiple personality disorder, that they split into different personalities. I've not heard that term used in terms of bipolar, but I like it and I'm going to use it. And I will look into that, to maybe talking a little bit more about bipolar. So losing someone that you love, and what happens is that, bye, Julie. Everybody say bye to Julie, because she's still recovering from a concussion and she can only take so many words and so much engagement and reading and focus like this. And I love her that she keeps jumping on here anyways and trying, okay? So send her some love, please. Hi, Gina, just lost my mom. Okay, so Roseanne just lost her mom. So I want you to think of this while I'm talking about it. If you've lost somebody recently, in the past, just any time in your life, and you notice that it's something that you've never really dealt with, talked about, and when the time came, you didn't know how to face it. I can't tell you how many times that I personally have experienced, or my clients have experienced. Oh my God, and Nancy's saying today is the anniversary of my honey passing 10 years ago. Wow. Okay, so I'm sending this to you, Roseanne, and to Nancy. Hi, Gina, lost my dad a month ago. Oh, and the other Nancy. There's 2 Nancys with losses. You guys, listen. I've seen this over and over again. When the time comes and the grief is there, what we do is, with me with my anxiety and my hair, and the grief is there, we lock it up. And at that moment of passing, we're trying to do the best we can to comfort that loved one and the people around us. And sometimes we can't have emotion. Like I've had people say, I went to the funeral, I didn't shed a tear, I felt terrible. Well, you're in shock. So I want you to understand, grief comes differently to all of us. And when you lose someone that is so important to you, you may have been crying for years before. We had a patient whose mother had had cancer for years, and for years she was letting go. And for years she was crying this woman's death that hadn't died yet. So when the mother died, she actually felt relieved, not because she was happy, but it was like, oh my God, the pain and suffering of letting go of someone who's dying and letting go of someone who's here in your life that matters, that you're powerless over saving or fixing or healing, and you're just drowning in sorrow about it. And there's like letting the floodgates open and letting go. Plus the suffering for that person that you want to heal, and you don't want them to suffer. You want them to be able to let go of that pain. So many things happen For some of us, we draw closer to that person. We cherish them. We share stories about our lives, and it enriches that moment, and we get closer. And sometimes we get closer to the people around us. And then there's this other horrible thing that happens. Hi, Mary Wilson. Just jump on here because I'm getting in deep. This horrible thing that happens, that we start fighting. We start fighting with the people around us when we're losing somebody that we love. I've seen it and experienced it over and over and over again. Yes, please send your love and prayers up to Nancy, and Roseanne, okay, around their losses and my losses. I just lost a dear friend. My husband just lost a family member, an aunt, and we have another person who's very ill right now. So how do you come to it? So here I come to my husband's family member's funeral, and unbeknownst to me, it's at the same funeral hall that my aunt passed away over 2 years ago now. I'm gonna be stunned about that. 2.5 years ago now. Hi, Diana. And so when I walk in there, everything that I felt about my aunt came back. Now, this particular family member of his, I knew for many, many years, but had never had a deep, close relationship to. I just didn't have the opportunity to spend much time with her. I thought she was a lovely human being and precious and sweet, and I felt for her and her family. But what I got flooded with was my old grief from my own aunt. So my aunt passed away 3 months after her husband, my uncle, passed away, and then I don't know, 6 months, less than that, my dad passes away. I get cancer. In between there, my best friend passed away. I'm packing up a lot of grief, right? So here I cried in that moment, but when I walked into this funeral 2 weeks ago, I started crying, and it was very difficult to stop. And what I want to say about that, hey, Fareed, if you want to run upstairs, the internet is circling like this on YouTube Live, and it says going live. I was never able to go live. If you want to come in and mess around and say hi to everybody while the internet gets fixed, go for it, because I just called you out to be a guest on my show anyways. Hi, Greta. Thank you for always sharing with us. I can't help it. It's part of why I started to do this, and also I got to tell you, I did a talk recently in Cape Cod about the soul of recovery and addiction, and just talking about how spirituality helps our healing, and it improves the rate of recovery dramatically for people to practice spiritual principles, not necessarily religion, but spiritual principles. And when I got some of the feedback, some of the people were bothered that I was sharing so much about myself. They thought it was too personal. They thought it was taking away from the presentation and the PowerPoint. And I'm like, get real right now. And I don't know if I shared, I don't remember if I shared with them that I had cancer, but I got to tell you, once that happened in my life, I don't care to not share about myself. I want people to know my stories so I can pass them on so that they have some insight or some comfort or some solutions or guidance or, I don't know, motivation or inspirational in some way. Why do we shame, now I'm going off topic, why do we shame each other around our truth, how we feel, whether it's as a professional or as a person? If I'm standing up and sharing personal stories about my life and it relates to the spirit of recovery and the spirit of healing, where the stories are intertwined, why would you criticize that? There's always a critic, always a critic. So I appreciate and thank you so much for sharing with me and just kind of acknowledging, Greta, that I do share my stories with you. It's very intentional on my part to be transparent, to be authentic, so that you can see what that's like, to be brave to share your painful stories. And even if you don't do it with me, to share it with the people in your life. Don't let people limit you because of their own fears and discomfort around who you are and what your emotions are about, okay? Hi, is that Rena? Hi, Rena, good to see you. So, in sharing the story of grief, and I want to get back to that subject, in losing this person, so my aunt, there wasn't space in my life. I was so overwhelmed with multiple deaths and cancer. I was so overwhelmed, I couldn't properly grieve. And so when I went in that funeral parlor and I saw the same space again, and I saw it was so much like being there for her funeral again, then the grief was able to come. See, sometimes it comes very quickly and you're flooded by it, and sometimes it takes a year later or 2 years later, where losing someone that matters so much to you, it all of a sudden hits your heart and hits your soul. And what I want to tell you is, don't stop that process. Don't stop crying. Don't stop grieving when that time comes. That is very healing. Those are healing waters. Your tears are healing waters. There's actually healing properties in your tears. And grief is meant to be let go of and shared. I always say that it's just like going to the bathroom. Like, you don't want to hold in your poop. You don't want to hold in your tears. You're going to get emotionally constipated, okay? And it's going to be pain that you're going to have to deal with later. And I want to say something about that not crying thing. So send me your thoughts. Tell me how you're feeling about what I'm saying. Tell me about the loved ones that you've lost that we can honor and acknowledge in some way. So true. We talk about everything. It always helps one another. Yes. Hi, Denise. Good morning. Take care. Have a good day. Okay. I didn't get to see you for very long, but it's good to see you. Kenneth, love your honesty. People don't like the honesty. Amen. Kenneth, yes, people don't. It makes them uncomfortable, and that's okay. And hi, Lena. Like watching and listening to you, but I'm exiting. You're freezing up on me. Probably the weather here. I'm so sorry, Lena. And I hope it's not my internet here. And I hope the weather clears up for you. And I'd love to see you again. Nancy, hits you when you least expect it. Amen to that. So, emotionally constipated. Yes. Yes, girlfriend. It happens. So I want to tell you, don't stop that. That's a natural response to thing. Like my husband for many, many years, Fareed, yes, you, and you didn't come up to fix the internet. You don't want people to see you? Are you in your yogi clothes? So Fareed for many, many years, I didn't see shed a tear. I mean, I saw him, his father's death, my father's death, one time that our daughter was very ill, one time that I was very ill, maybe twice with me. And all of a sudden, he's able to do that after many years of just letting go and being comfortable, right, Freed, in his own skin, and sharing. Maybe being married to a therapist who cries quite a bit had something to do with it. But what happens, like recently, he was visiting a loved one who's ill, and their significant person that was there to support them said, "Don't cry. Don't cry, because it might disturb the person in the bed who's really in failing health and at the end stages of life." And I think my husband was kind of shocked because, number one, he's not a big crier. So to see that he was crying, you would think somebody would encourage it, and just wrap arms around it. And the message he got was, don't cry because it'll disturb that person and depress them. I want to tell you this. What my husband said was brilliant. He said, don't you think that person is feeling my compassion? That by seeing my tears, they see that I have compassion for them, and there must be some comfort in that. Isn't that brilliant? He's not even a therapist. He's just married to one and pretending to be one. So yes, Fareed and everyone, when you're losing someone, don't be afraid. You can be strong in front of them, but you also can show your grief and sadness. It is so comforting because they see the connection. They see the love in your tears. They see the honesty and the vulnerability in that. And they too are crying and grieving in their own way, even if they're no longer physically capable. And no, they don't want you to be sad when they leave. And yes, they want you to feel okay and to stand strong. But really, they understand that your grief is the measure of your love. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. My grief and pain always comes later after death, not initially. Exactly, Mike. That's what we were talking about. So sometimes we hold it together for the family. God knows I did that with losing my father. God knows that in that situation and in those circumstances at that time and balancing just having been diagnosed myself, I certainly reined that in quite a bit. And then the tears kept coming later and months later. And every time I thought about him or saw a picture of him pop up on Facebook or someone asked me about him, let it go. And then there's those moments that you've cried and you've grieved, and then you think about the person and you have utter joy and peace. You start to laugh. I've had belly laughs about my dad. Here's a way to keep that process and kind of keep yourself free of feeling bound up, I guess, and tied up to that grief, like you're never going to let it go, is celebrate that person and remember them. So what I wanted to say about finding peace about my dad was I decided, instead of not talking about him and kind of packing that all up, I talked about him as much as I could. And I looked at pictures of him, and I kept pictures of him with me, and I showed him to other people that had never met him, and I talked about him, and I make fun of him all the time, you know, with my accent that I do with you guys all the time, with Beth, which Beth loves and knows very well, and so does Mary, is by doing that accent, it's like he's sitting right here with me, with you guys, and then you get to see a little bit of him, okay? So I know that's difficult to do when you've lost them, because all you feel is they're gone and they're not coming back, and I hate this feeling and I want them here with me right now. And the way to do that is just honor and respect them being here by speaking of them and saying, I love you, and wherever you are in the universe, your energy, your spirit, your soul, I'm just so blessed, and will always remember, will always hold you dear to my heart, and speak to that, or speak to them, or invite them into your dream life, or write letters to them and let them go. Whatever you need to do to honor and acknowledge that they are a powerful force in your life, okay? All right, Beth, I feel grieving in advance of a death for my father, even though he hasn't passed. Grieving for the future weighs heavy, even though it could be a few years from now. Wow, that's so well said, Beth. And then I want to read Diana's too. My daddy passed almost 2 years ago. Mine too, exactly. I've never gotten to say goodbye. I've gotten really sad, but I never cry. I feel I can't. I need to be strong, and I don't know why. Oh my gosh, two different stories, similar women, I think, because Beth is an incredibly strong woman. So this is what I want to say to you, is that Beth, I used to pray for the strength to be able to deal with the loss of my father, because you know how close I was to him, right? So I'll even say that, and it'll bring tears already. And I prayed and prayed and prayed, because I was so afraid that I would not be able to tolerate the feeling of him not being here. And if you don't know, and I haven't shared on the lives, the last 6 years of my dad's life, 5.5 to 6 years of his life, yeah, he was being lost to me with Alzheimer's. He was going into Alzheimer's, and we were slowly losing my father. And we were given the gift of him just being very gracious and funny in his Alzheimer's till the very end, joking about, you know, one of my favorite stories to tell is my dad would say something like outrageous to one of our cousins, or like, he has one little goddaughter that he always likes to, you know, criticize her, make fun of her or whatever, because she has tattoos, and that's like a big no-no in our culture. So he said something to her one time, I think, and I turned and I'm like, oh my God, Dad, don't say that. That's not nice to say, or whatever he said. And my dad looks at me and he goes, oh, I don't care. What am I going to care? Because in 2 minutes, I'm going to forget about it anyway. So I start busting up laughing, and I'm like, you're right. Say whatever you want, because you have the gift now of losing that memory in that moment through Alzheimer's. That is an incredible gift, because most people won't go into Alzheimer's like that. Hi, Kelly. So in that story, and why I'm telling you that, Beth, is I'm remembering my father in that way, but because he was going away, I started grieving 5 years before I lost him, because I knew I would lose him to Alzheimer's. I knew I could be in the room with my father someday at some point, and he wouldn't know who I am, and that would be incredibly painful and tragic. So yes, start grieving now. I cry now. I mean, prior to his passing, I cried picturing his death. I cried picturing his funeral. I thought about it. I planned for it. I showed up for it. And all of that rehearsal gave me strength. When the time came, I really needed that strength to rely on. So I applaud you for doing that. And it's so sad. And it's not that you want to bury them. It's that you are facing the inevitability. We're all going to die. And as we're aging, if we've been given the gift of God, the universe, whatever you believe in, If we've been given the gift to live a very full life, when we reach those latter years, we know it's getting closer. We can't ignore that. And for some of us, it's accidental, it's premature, and those are the most devastating deaths. The loss of a child, the loss of a partner, devastating. And so, again, send love to the women who have shared. Roseanne was one of them, Nancy and Nancy, the other ones, about losing someone so significant to them. And sometimes when it's unexpected like that, there's no words, there's no healing in that. What I want to say to Diana and the rest of you, how am I doing? Wow, I'm just plowing right through my time with you all. Give me a couple more minutes. What I want to say to you is this. Diana, we are taught often culturally, and as men or as women, and specifically in cultures, and in the American culture, it is a very pervasive thing that it's not okay to cry, and that we're supposed to be tough, and we're not supposed to express that publicly. It's a sign of weakness. It's all a farce. It is all bullshit. We are emotional beings. It's what separates us from all other animals. We have that ability. We are meant to use it as a natural process that we have as a living, breathing human being to grieve. It is not a sign of weakness. It is actually a sign of strength. It's honesty and purity in its greatest form. And the more you can let your hair down and grieve, the more strength and courage you can have to get past that grief, because you're unpacking it. Instead of dragging it around with you and letting it weigh you down and weigh on your mind and your unconscious and in your heart, by grieving and crying, you're actually letting it go and moving forward. It's a way to honor that person, and it's a way to let them go, and it's a way to open space in your heart for something else, for a different love, a different relationship that needs to come in there. Not that they can replace that person that you lost. It's just a different kind of love, and it's just making space for that. Okay? Nancy, oh my, so sorry, Gina. My dad too had Alzheimer's. I know, Nancy, it's horrific. Hi, Marla. I'm going to see Marla right after this, because we're in book club together. So we're going to go to book club. So Fareed is posting, because that's his way of telling me I'm close to the end of my time. Tell me what you thought. Tell me if that was helpful for you. Messenger me. Send me more comments and questions. I want to read the rest of you. Please send the love to everyone who shared, including Beth, who's sharing about the fears of letting go of her father, and Diana, Roseanne. Mom had dementia, and for the past 4 years, I would drive around and let her listen to music. Aww. She would sing every word of the song, however, she would forget us on days. Yes. And my dad, just barely at the end, he forgot my mom a few times. If he forgot me, he always pretended that he knew me, which was such a gift and blessing that he gave me. Fareed is saying my mom too. Oh, Fareed wants you to know that his mama too is heading into dementia too. Beth, that was brilliant. Well said, sister. Love you. Thank you. I don't know what I said, but thank you for telling me it's brilliant. Write it down, because I never remember what I say, and then people say stuff like that, and I'm like very humbled and blown away. Hi, Marla. So hello and goodbye to all of you. So Fareed is saying bye, because that's Fareed. But Gina and Fareed. Nancy, what do you mean, but Gina and Fareed? You lost me there, girl. Oh, yes. You're sending some love, I think, to me and Fareed around that. Okay, so I didn't give you a lot of specifics about finding peace, but I think I gave you one kind of big lesson, and that's to let go of the grief. And the other thing that I want you to take with is, please honor that person. Talk about them. Oh, bye. Bye, Nancy. Please honor, talk about that person, remember them, keep them with you, share their stories, keep their story alive, keep them with you, and just know that it is the inevitability for all of us. As much as we love this life, we have to be willing to let go. When the time is for us to let go, to try to let go with grace and dignity as much as that's humanly possible. Give that to your loved one and allow them to hold that too, to be able to let go with grace. And tears are just one part of that grace and that healing, okay? I'm so grateful you all chimed in. Thank you. I love you so much, Mary. You've been on my mind all day today. I swear to you. In my busyness, I hadn't texted you, but I had a conversation with you in my head to text you to see how are you doing. So check in with me. Thank you, Gina. You're always helpful. Okay, Diana, you're so welcome. Thank you, guys. Keep watching. Please share my page with other people. And I keep forgetting to tell you, Find me on Instagram. I'd like to create a following on Instagram and put some videos. I'm starting to put little stories on Instagram, and they're very different than what I'm doing here for the most part. I think it's me goofing off more and having a good time. But it's my name, Gina Tabrizy, and then underneath it'll say Ask Gina. But go on there and friend me, hit me. What do you do on Instagram? Friend me, hit me, like me. Don't hit me. Hit me up. So follow, right? Request. I don't know. Somebody tell me. Jesus, it's too much for me to keep up with all of this stuff. So thank you so much. Share on YouTube. You can also find me, Fareed saying that. Thank you, Marshall. I send my love and prayers to all of you who are losing someone, have lost someone, are facing that reality right now. And pray for peace. And if you're not a prayerful religious person, that's okay. It will come to you. It's like a meditation. Just speak words of love into your heart and keep saying them out loud. I will be okay. This is the time. This is meant to be. I need to let go. I need to let God. I need to know that I'll be okay. All my love goes with this person. That's nothing can break the bond of love. No universe, nothing can ever break it. It is eternal. So thank you guys. I'm so happy to see you again. I'll try to get on here more because I'm not liking the once a week thing. And I'd like to see my husband speaking. Good night in German, Fareed says. Wunderbar, wonderful, Fareed. And send me topics, okay? I really want to see them. And like my Instagram. Share, follow, share, follow, share, follow. Bye, you guys. I'll see you soon.